What's going on, slave tards? First, I want to start by saying I really don't care if you like or subscribe this video because it's obvious to me that everything in this world is fake, and in order to be successful in this world, you have to use fake things. And I'm not fake, and I'm not going to use fake things, and, so I really don't care about groveling for your subscriptions or your views because I'm not going to get them anyway because I don't use fake AI and all this other stuff. But that's what this video is about today. This video today is about the end of reality, the end of anything real, right? On my last video that no one watched because YouTube, for some reason, even though I wasn't talking about sea change and all the keywords you're not allowed to say on YouTube before they put warnings up and then suppress your videos to the back of the internet, somehow my last video, even though I was talking about how dumb it is with $37 trillion worth of debt, how dumb space exploration is, like colonizing Mars and doing all this thing and, bases on the moon and stuff, how ridiculous that is when we have huge problems here with debt and, huge problems here on Earth. Like, why would we even... But it doesn't matter what the video is about. It got suppressed because it's a real opinion from a real human, and YouTube doesn't like anything that's not AI slop, right? Nowadays, in order to have any success, you've got to utilize fake AI crap. How many of you have noticed that the majority of videos on YouTube now are AI created slop, AI slop, right? The majority of imagery around today is AI generated slop, right? Now on Spotify, it's overrun with AI music, right? It's nothing real anymore, right? But that's what the people want. That's what the people want. That's what gets views is AI crap, right? So we're living in a society where nothing is real, right? Nothing is real. You look at what's going on in America and it's a travesty, right? On one hand, you have the President of the United States telling everybody how he's going to bring America into the golden age. And now everything since he's been president is great. Meanwhile, the reality of the thing is you go to the grocery store and every single time you go, every single thing you buy goes up in price. Every time. I cannot go to the grocery store from week to week without at least one thing that I buy going up in price, right? Still today, right? Still today, inflation is still happening. If you don't think so, go buy some coffee, right? Go buy literally anything. I remember when chicken thighs, which I like to eat a lot of, that's my choice protein is chicken thighs, boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I remember when they were not too long ago, 2-3 years ago, they were $1.99 a pound at Walmart. Now they're $3.22. They're almost double. Almost double. You see everything going up. It's not just like meat. You see everything going up, right? And we live in a world where real people in reality are hurting, especially the younger generations. The only generations that are doing fine are the boomers, but all the other generations are hurting. And you look at like even the younger generations, like a lot of them don't own cars. Can you believe it? When I grew up, that was the first thing you got when you're 15 and 16. Even if it was a jalopy, you could own a car, right? But, today it's unaffordable. Today, on the ground, it's over. It's really over, right? No one can afford a house. And if you could afford a house, you're going to be house poor. You're going to be handcuffed to the thing. You make me think about going out and spending some money or going on a vacation until your property tax bill comes in, or your insurance rates go up every single year. So the standard of living, we've talked about this for forever on this channel. The standard of living in America, it's going down. If those of you that want to know when the collapse is going to happen, it's already happening. It's happening right now. It's happening right now, right? All you have to do is look at the price of gold. Now silver, look, silver is almost $42, right? You look at it, Bitcoin, it's not, I don't even know what to call it. It's not an asset. You can't call something that's digital numbers on a screen that anybody can create endless amounts of, right? Like, the people that like Bitcoin, their whole thing is, it's limited to 21 million. Tomorrow, I could create something exactly like Bitcoin with the exact same blockchain. I could probably go in Fiverr and pay somebody like $12 to do it. That would have a maximum mintage of 10 million coins, where Bitcoin's 21 million. Twice as rare. Right? It's just stupid, but it's $108,000, right? Because the millennials and the younger generations have been brainwashed somehow that digital tokens that are backed by nothing and are worth nothing somehow will make you rich, and they have no other way, right? They can't make it by going to school and getting a job, because they come out of school and they owe $200,000 and they're getting a job making 40, right? And their school loan payments take up their whole paycheck, right? So this is where we're at. So everybody is turned to fake, right? Fake stuff, right? Reality is too painful to look at, right? No one wants to look at reality anymore because it's too painful, right? If you focus on reality, you're focused on negativity because it's negative. You don't want to look at what's really happening. What's really happening is America's output is dropping. The rest of the world's output is going up. Our global dominance is waning. The US dollar is waning. All of our enemies, the BRICS nations, are becoming more powerful, and less people are needing the United States. What does the United States have to offer anymore? Let's look. Let's look at that. The only thing that the United States has to offer the world these days is tech, right? And what is tech doing? It's making everything fake. It's throwing fake in your face, right? Tech has run out of things to sell, right? There's no longer, things for tech to sell. So they're telling you that you need stuff to create fake stuff, right? That's what they're creating, right? Like, already nobody can spell because it's spell check, right? Now, nobody can do anything that uses your brain because they just ask AI to do it for them, right? We're breeding generations of morons, right? Of troglodytes, of like cavemen. We're regressing, right? It's de-evolution going on. I've talked about it many times. And let's look at what's going on with the dollar, right? So first of all, those of you that think cryptocurrency is going to be the future and is going to save you, I'm telling you right now, when this thing starts to come apart, when the U.S. stock market starts to crash, when the sell-off begins, the first asset that's going to tank will be Bitcoin. It will be the first one. You know why? Because that's where the riches are, right? people are going to panic while they try to realize what something that right now is just paper wealth. They're going to try to realize it, and everybody's going to do it at once. And Bitcoin will be the first thing to crash. It will be the first thing to crash, right? It has nothing to offer. When you look at the new Genius Act that the president is looking for and all these stable coins, they're not talking about Bitcoin, right? They're talking about U.S. dollar-backed cryptocurrencies that's backed one by one to the dollar. They're not talking about they're not talking about Bitcoin. They're talking about something that's backed by the dollar, right? If you look at our enemies, our enemies are not buying crypto hand over fist. They're buying gold, right? They're buying gold, right? The end of the dollar is happening before your eyes. And those of you that have, kind of wondered when hyperinflation is going to happen in America, it's happening now. It's happening now. And not only is it happening now, it's quickening, right? Hyperinflation starts like this, and then it hockey sticks. And the gradual part of it is over. It's over, right? You see in the financial markets, one of the things that just makes me laugh all the time, it just makes me laugh all the time is everybody still the old school way of thinking in the financial markets was that the Federal Reserve, they controlled everything, right? Everybody always hung on every word of the Fed chairman. Are they going to give a hint, or they're tightening or loosening or raising interest rates or lowering interest rates? Because the Fed controls everything. But now it's become very apparent that the Fed is controlling nothing. That the world economy, especially the U.S. monetary system, is outside the Fed's control, right? Because people don't understand the Fed does not set interest rates. They do not set interest rates. They set overnight lending rates to banks. The bond market sets interest rates. And interest rates are set by demand for U.S. Treasuries. And when that demand wanes, or if there's an ocean of debt, U.S. Treasuries out there, but there's not huge amounts of people that want to buy that ocean of debt, interest rates are going to go up no matter what the Fed does, unless they monetize it. And at $37 trillion, the only choice is to monetize it, right? There is no other choice. It's either let all the debt go and have banks and financial institutions and retirement funds and insurance companies and the entire country implode, because everything would implode if the government just said, we're not going to pay this debt anymore. We're going to do a reset, right? The entire building blocks, the entire pillars of the financial system is U.S. debt, treasuries, right? If the treasury market ever fails, it's over. It would make Black Tuesday and the Great Depression look like a cakewalk, right? So that's not an option. That's not an option. So the only option they have is to monetize it. That's the only option they have, is to try and keep that game going for as long as possible. Because when it's over, it's starvation, destitute, right? So one thing I can guarantee you is that prices on real goods and services are going to go up. I think prices on fake things are on their way down, because we're at a point now where the only thing that will save you, let me tell you, if I had any advice to tell you on how to prepare yourself for what's going on, the first thing I could say, the first thing I would tell you is get out of all debt, right? Pay your debt off. Don't owe anybody on anything. Because if you owe anybody on anything, you're going to lose it completely, right? So get out of debt. That's number one. And number two is buy real stuff. Buy real stuff that people are going to want in the future. Anyway, that's my video for tonight. Peace.